Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Ringo TV Reactions. I'm your host, Ringo. We're back again with another one. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. Cassie pretty much is testifying against Diddy. And the things that she's saying, man, is not making Diddy look good at all. Basically, Cassie has been suffering from a lot of urinary tract infections, various illnesses and other junk because she was having sexual relations with male prostitutes and various other men. And, we're going to talk a little bit more about Cassie later on, because as much as she was abused by Diddy, and I talked about this in my first initial videos before the beating video came out. There gots to be some accountability on the part of Cassie. There gots to be, because, we're going to talk about that a little bit more. Let me just get into this, and then we're going to talk more about Cassie. But as of right now, there's so much information, guys, that I got to cover, and my apologies. I'm very busy outside of YouTube. I got a lot of things I got to take care of, and I'm trying to take care of these things so I can focus on the content. But let's get into the story here, man. Cassie is basically saying that the Freakoffs gave her very painful, I'm talking about painful urinary tract infections. I don't know why she just didn't simply just say STDs or something along them lines. And when you really think about it, these conditions that she was dealing with was so painful that the regular medication that she would take couldn't deal with it, because she was getting them so often that the medication couldn't fight it no more. If I can give you a little understanding of why that happened, let me kind of break this thing down by using lawn care practices to help you to understand exactly what Cassie's talking about. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, Cassie has an infection. She goes to the doctor. They prescribe her some sort of antibiotic, some sort of medication that is supposed to clear it up. Well, what happens is, when you keep getting the same infection and you keep taking the same medication over and over and over, your body begin to build up a resistance to said medication, because you keep getting this infection all the time. Now, if we were to twist this and look at it based on lawn care, in lawn care, if you water your lawn too much, especially if you live in the transitional zones and, you water your lawn at nighttime, it's too humid, your lawn will develop a lawn fungus, which is lawn disease. And the only way to cure it is you would have to use a product that is for curing or preventing lawn disease. But now here's the problem. If you keep using the same product on your lawn disease over and over and over, your lawn will build up a resistance for that same product, and the product won't work anymore. And what professionals tell you as a lawn care enthusiast is that you should rotate different products. So if you use a lawn fungus product 1 month, then the next month you should switch it to another product, or else your lawn will build up a resistance and it won't fight off the bacteria and the fungi that is causing your lawn to die. So in the case of Cassie, her situation got so bad because she was being infected by all these dirty men. And no matter how much treatment she was getting, it was just not going away. And to think that Diddy was with her so long and she endured this so long, we got to question Cassie, guys. I know a lot of you want to see Diddy fry, and it is what it is. He's supposed to fry. You know what I mean? He's evil. At the same time, right? At the same time, and ladies, please don't get emotional. Please, we got to take accountability, right? Because I'm going to be covering a lot of stuff regarding this case. A lot of people is talking about it, but nobody is going to be as logical as Ringo TV reactions. Nobody. Because a lot of content creators is just focusing on getting a check, and they will just run the numbers up just to keep you entertained. What I like to deal with is logic and balance and fairness. When we look at Cassie, right? Cassie received a settlement from Diddy. Now, all of a sudden, she's testifying. You guys got to really think about what's going on here. We know that Diddy is evil. We know that Diddy is going down. But my thing is this. If you already received a settlement, an undisclosed amount of money in the situation with Diddy, why all of a sudden now she's on the stand testifying? It just goes to show that she is being used by the elite at the same time. This is not just a case of, well, you know, I'm a victim, I don't know what's going on, and I'm just testifying. You could have did that when Diddy was settling with you. You could have did all of this before you got some money. You know what I mean? And then, you know, people want to focus on, well, you know, when she met Diddy, she was a young lady in her early 20s. She didn't know nothing. She didn't understand. Guys, when you read all the information regarding Cassie knew exactly what was going on, guys. Now, yes, Diddy was a powerful guy, lots of money. He could control careers, but at the same time, man, we gotta have some accountability for women, man. We just can't be walking around acting as if though women are just so dumb and stupid, they just don't know what they're involved in. Because now what this says is that all this talk about women being equal to men is BS, even though I believe it's BS, because women are not equal to men. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? You're not. You can't fight a man, right? But let's just be honest here. She's a grown woman. She knew exactly what was going on. She was at these parties. You know what I mean? She said nothing. She said nothing. She did everything. These guys were abusing this woman left and right. And now all of a sudden, she's testifying. All I'm saying is this, guys. What man in his right mind would get with Cassie at this point in her life and get her pregnant? What is going on in a world where a woman is involved in all these freak-offs, getting banged by left and right by different dudes, catching venereal diseases and all sorts of mess, and you're gonna go put up a baby inside this woman, bro? I'm telling you, this world is dirty. It's a nasty world, and some men are so damn thirsty, they'll just get with any woman whatsoever. It's sick. It is absolutely sick. That's like getting with a corn star and you're trying to wife her up after all the disgusting things she'd been through. I mean, it is said, and I talked about this in my last video. I talked about how Diddy would have the male strippers urinate in Cassie's mouth to make her drink urine, gargle urine. He put her on a dental plan while he sat back and basically jerked off. This is pretty much what he did. He would beat his meat and literally be entertained by other men banging his woman, you know? So we gotta have some accountability, ladies. You can't just sit there and just keep holding Cassie as a victim. She's a victim, yes, but she's also a participant, guys. There's such thing as victims who participate. Do you understand me? There is such thing as a victim who also participate, and when the trouble get hot, all of a sudden they switch up. You understand? Cassie was at the motels when Diddy would invite her to the motels. It's all in the receipts, guys. She was excited to go to the hotels. And she played it off as if though, well, I thought I was going to talk about music. I thought it was monogamous. Come on, man. Stop playing. We're talking about P. Diddy. How in the world could you and P. Diddy be in a monogamous relationship? Let's stop it. He's a media mogul. There is no way. I keep telling ladies all the time. You understand? Men are not monogamous. You know what I mean? I keep telling y'all this all the time. You get into a relationship with a man, chances is he's thinking about another woman. He would bang another woman if he had the opportunity. He's a man. So the best thing you can do is just play your position and do your part. But all of that stuff thinking because you're in a relationship with a man that somehow he's monogamous to you, think again. Get over it. You know, if you want to have a long-term relationship, you can't be an insecure woman always worrying about what your man is doing. Once you do that, you're going to be alone forever. You understand? So now, let's get back into the content. Be sure to click that like button. We need you to click the like button. Don't just come view the show and you're just standing around. Click the like button. We need people to support these shows because all these other content creators are full of shit. They don't talk about the real issues. They don't break down the videos the way I do. I give you the best breakdowns. And I'm fair and I'm balanced. Yes, Cassie is a victim. Yes, she was young. I get it, but she wasn't a damn child. Let's stop playing dumb. You understand? She knew exactly who P. Diddy was. She knew exactly the kind of man he was. And in some instances, she enjoyed the freak-offs. Let's just call it what it is. We don't know the strange fetishes she have. Let's just stop being dumbed down and docile. We don't know what kind of fetishes and freaky stuff Cassie was into. Because I looked at all the receipts, I'm reading the documents, and I'm hearing that, oh, P. Diddy introduced her to oral sex. And she's talking all of this stuff in the court. Yeah, P. Diddy introduced me to oral sex. So you didn't know what that was before at 21, 22? Come on, stop. I don't want to hear that crap. You knew exactly what you were getting involved in, and you knew exactly what you had to do. Because if you're a young lady and you're hanging around Diddy, you know you got to be topping him off. Let's stop playing games, right? So now let's go. It talks about how Cassie Ventura says there was a painful physical side effect from all of the freak-offs Diddy had her doing with male escorts, urinary tract infections. It goes on and says the singer testified in court Wednesday she would take opiates after the freak-offs to numb herself from very painful urinary tract infections. No, you had a bunch of STIs and you know, sexually transmitted diseases and infections. That's what you had. You know what I mean? Not just some urinary tract infection. I don't want to hear that. You know, let's call it what it is. You had a bunch of STIs, right? You were burning. That's what happened. They trying to dress it in a nice way. You know what I mean? Well, I had urinary tract and no, you had STIs. That's what you had. Let's call it what it is. Let's stop playing. You know what I mean? You're getting banged by different dogs and different demons. So that's exactly what you had, right? She most likely had, what's that other thing? What is that thing? Bacteria, wait, BV, bacteria vaginosis. She had all of that stuff too. Come on now, come on. Because with all of those male dirty dogs that was banging her, she most likely had BV too. You know what I mean? She want to tell you it's, you know, whatchamacallit, urinary tract infections. That's a nice way to put it, guys. We have to look at it for what it is. And real women who know, they know. You know what I mean? She had all sorts of dirt, right? So now it goes on and it says, the singer testified, okay, we read that part. Cassie told the jury the UTIs would give her a burning sensation. Well, of course, because you had STIs. You know, you had BV, you probably got genital herpes, probably got chlamydia, probably got all sorts of other stuff. You know, her vajayjay was on fire. Her vajayjay was burning. You know what I'm saying? Burning. And all of those guys that she was with was burning. But because they were all burning, none of them knew what was going on. You know what I'm saying? And think about this, guys. While she having all these venereal problems, guys are banging her raw dog. There was no condoms used. Guys was banging her raw dog. Guys was eating her out. You know what I'm saying? Diddy was eating her out. Everybody was nasty and freaky off. Everything was disgusting. These are some disgusting, nasty animals. And this is what they were doing. Now, you mean to tell me Cassie was doing this for 10 years? And at no moment in any time did she realize, look, I got to stop doing this mess. And it took for the settlement situation to come through. And then on top of that, to add insult to injury, now all of a sudden, now you testifying. I think that's twisted. Because once you testified, they didn't tell us the amount of money she was able to obtain. Nor did they even give us information about what it was like in the settlement because Diddy settled with her so quick. So why would she be testifying now? Who gave her the authority to speak? Who gave her that order? How was she able to speak? I thought that her mouth was supposed to remain closed after the settlement. So what this tells me is that as a man, if you settle with a woman out of court, that does not mean she's going to stay quiet, guys. So it's a waste of time to settle. Diddy should have never settled with her, because now all the information is going to come out. They're going to bring out all the sex tapes. People are going to get to see the real deal. Diddy probably got secret tapes with Cassie, which shows that everything is consensual. Again, we know that she was young. We know that she was involved in various stuff, but we got to look, guys, we got to look at the case for what it is. We know that Diddy beat her. That is a fact. We know that he beat her. So under that instance, Diddy is evil and he deserves to pay. But let's not be so naive to think that Cassie is just innocent. We can't let her get away with murder. We've seen too many men going away to prison for murder. Look at a case in point, Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez just got stabbed 14 times by a Mexican gang member in prison who's serving life for murder. You understand? And guess who put him there? Megan Thee Stallion. You understand? An industry plant. And she put that man behind bars over a situation that most likely had nothing to do with Tory Lanez. But they put him there because they wanted to destroy Tory Lanez. Now, am I saying that Diddy's innocent? Not at all. Diddy is guilty. He deserved to serve time for abuse. But at the end of the day, Cassie got paid. She took this man in, got paid, the man settled, and now she's in court singing. You understand? Now she's in court spitting bars to put him behind bars. That's kind of sick after you just got a settlement. Right is right and wrong is wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. If I settled with a woman, even if I'm dirty, and I settled out of court, gave her a couple of millions to quiet things down, and she ain't speak to the public about nothing, and she kept it quiet, why all of a sudden now she testifying against me in court, y'all? Come on now. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Even if Diddy is dirty and y'all want to hear the tea and y'all want to hear the dirt, it's dirty. It's disgusting. And at that point, you got to realize that Cassie is not innocent, guys. I don't care what nobody says. She's not innocent, y'all. She's a victim, yes, in a certain point, but she's not innocent. She's an industry plant, you know? So let's go. It says Cassie told the jury the STIs would give her a burning sensation, and she got them so often that antibacterial medication stopped working. Now, if you've been listening from the beginning of the stream, I gave you an indication of some practices regarding lawn care and how if you have lawn disease or lawn bacteria or lawn fungus, the only way to get rid of it and maintain a healthy lawn is you would have to use 2 different types of lawn antifungal products, but you can't use them every minute. You got to switch them up. So the reason why the antibacterial medication it stopped working is because she was getting these infections all the time. Think about how her vagina was on fire, guys. Think about a woman that is around a multi-millionaire and her vagina health is sick because of all the freak-offs. This woman was not in a clinic. This woman was not healthy. This woman was dirty. And what woman in her right mind would allow all these different men to penetrate her vagina, giving her BV, STDs, urinary tract infections? You know, most women that are really serious about their health make sure that they maintain a cleansely body, a clean vagina. Some women don't play when it comes to these things. You know what I mean? So how could this woman walk around with a dirty box? Dirty for years. Come on, man. It's why you guys that be out there wanting to eat these women box and lick it from the back and do all this mess. Come on, man. This is how she was, bro. Dirty, disgusting, and nasty. But now she's playing the victim. And think about this, guys. Remember I told you she's pregnant. So what they're going to do is they're going to bring a pregnant woman into court and people are going to side with her because she's pregnant. They're going to be feeling sorry for her and all. I told you guys. Look, I told you everything that's going down before anybody on YouTube, guys. If you go back to my previous video that I did when Cassie was supposed to take the stand, I told you everything. Everything. If you go listen to the video and you look at all the reports that is out there now, everything I told you guys, I said it before the media put it out there. You see what I mean? That's why I keep telling y'all, man, y'all got to support the show, bro. When I tell y'all hit that like button, share the videos, because all these content creators, they watch my content, bro. They watch me in the clouds. They go and regurgitate what I talk about, and they get all the views and all the attention and all of the accolades for work they didn't even do. You know what I mean? Because I break down these stories the best, and I'm fair and I'm balanced. We know that Diddy's dirty. He need to go away to prison for life because there's a lot of people that was abused. You know what I mean? And TMZ put out some info that possibly some other men are involved. Some other rappers was at these freak-offs. You see what I'm saying? I believe one of them is, what is that DJ Khaled? He's one of the guys that was in a video that was recently leaked. And also, what's the other guy? French Montana. You got him. So a lot of these guys are going to be caught up in the mix when it comes to this situation regarding the Diddy Freakoff parties, right? And there's so much information, guys. There's so much different stories I got to talk about with this stuff. I'm overwhelmed with topics, man. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin. You know what I mean? It's so much drama going on with this case. So let me get back to it, guys. Again, hit that like button. So it goes on and says she testified she would also get sores on her mouth. Those are herpes sores, guys. Those are cold sores. Look at what, guys, this woman was suffering from STIs, bruh. This woman had all sorts of venereal diseases. I don't know why they don't just call it what it is. It says she testified she would also get sores on her tongue from all the oral sex during the freak-offs. Now you tell me how you are a grown woman and you taking dick, big dick in your mouth over and over and over, and all these men are nutting in your mouth, peeing in your mouth, doing all of this other mess. And I gotta be explicit, guys. We're grown over here. This is not a kid's channel. This is an adult channel. This woman was taking wood in her mouth from different men over and over and over. These men were raw dogging, nasty, cheesy, disgusting men, dirty. And she was swallowing these men down for Diddy's pleasure for 10 years and allowed this to go down. There's no way you could be a woman taking D in your mouth from different men and you ain't say nothing. You were enjoying this. As much as a victim as she was, and here's the thing, guys. The only instances in this situation that I believe that Cassie was a victim was when she was being beaten and abused by Diddy. Other than that, I don't see her being a victim at the freak-offs. I do not see her as a victim at the freak-offs. I heard too much testimony, I heard too much information, and I am convinced that this woman loved the feeling of a big D in her mouth. She loved it. You understand me? So I don't want to hear none of the sob stories like she was being raped and violated. No, I don't want to hear those stories, guys. She had ample amount of time to call the police, to call whoever she need to call to get things sorted. No woman, no intelligent woman would endure 10 years of taking wood in her mouth, swallowing nuts and gargling urine. No woman would do that unless she loved it. You understand? Listen, they got some women out there that are into all types of freaky stuff, guys. There are women out there, brothers, that if you were getting with them intimately, it's not enough. There are women out there, brothers, that want to be fucked. I don't think you understand. There are some women that it's not just about you getting with her, laying some pipe, and that's it. No, there are some women out there that like to get manhandled by multiple men, and that's how they get off. Do you understand? And Cassie is one of them. Sad to say. Somebody got to say the truth, guys. Somebody got to say the truth. Because again, I don't want another Tory Lane situation. You know what I mean? Too many men are going away because people are siding with people and they're not holding certain people accountable for what they do. And again, I'm not defending Diddy, ladies. I'm not. He's guilty. He's going to serve life in prison. We know that already. I already told y'all in my videos. If you've been following my videos, I told you guys that Diddy is going to serve life in prison. Why? He should have took the plea deal. If he would have took the plea deal, he would have did some time and he would have came home to his money. No, he want to battle the feds and nobody's going to win. When you battle the feds have a so-called 97%, 98% point whatever conviction rate. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. So at the end of the day, Diddy going to trial was a bad move. He figured he got enough money to get him through. You understand? That's what he believed. But let's not look at the situation and side with everything with Cassie. If we're going to, listen, guys, let's be fair and balanced. Let's be fair. Look, guys, the reason why when they do jury duty, when they pick jurors for a case, they don't want people that is familiar with the case because people are biased. People take sides. That's why they pick people who are neutral, who don't know what's going on. So, being that the majority of us that is watching this live, listening from the clouds, the reason why some people would side with Cassie no matter what is because you know about the case. So, most women are going to automatically side with Cassie because she's a woman. But at the same time, imagine if you were a juror. You would be biased. Do you see what I'm saying? Then again, you have some men that because they're a man, they're going to side with Diddy. Even though Diddy is dirty. Some men that do the same thing, because here's the thing, ladies, there are men that are looking at this live stream that do these kind of things with women on the low, low, low. And we don't know about them. So they're going to side with Diddy just because. So when you look at a case like this, you have to be neutral. You got to be fair. You got to be balanced. Diddy is a sick man. We know that. He beats women. Once you beat women, once you did that thing to Cassie in the hallway and you started kicking her in her head, giving her black eyes, all bets are off the table. You're a scumbag at that point. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, we know that he does the freak-offs. And we know he give a lot of people these 360 deals in the music industry. He's responsible for Biggie dying. Come on now. He's responsible for Craig Mack dying and his family being broke and everybody struggling. You know what I mean? He's the one who put 112 in a fucked up deal. Come on, man. I could go back into the history at Bad Boy, fam. All of those artists were suffering. You know what I mean? He's the one who was against Mace. Mace was the only one that stood up against the diddler. You know what I mean? Mace is the only one that stood up because he got tired of the BS, man. Mace is the one that carried Bad Boy. You know what I mean? If there was no Mace, there was no Bad Boy. You know what I mean? Because once Big is gone, you know, it was just nothing but problems after that, man. Nothing but problems. So the diddler did a lot of people bad and dirty, man. A lot of people suffered. So let's get back to the content. Be sure to hit that like button. So it goes on and it says, she testified she would also get sores on her tongue from all the oral sex during the freak-offs. And she raised the issues of sores in her mouth and UTIs with Diddy. Now think about all the sores, the painful sores, the herpes sores, the cold sores that was in her mouth and on her tongue. This woman's mouth was a sanitation. This woman's mouth was full of semen. Do you understand how much semen was on her tongue in between her teats? And Diddy would still kiss this woman. Think about this, guys, for 10 years. And she ain't say nothing, she ain't do nothing, fam. She loved the taste of different semen, man. I gotta go there, guys. Look, ladies, I understand a lot of ladies are emotional. Some women have been through traumatic situations. Please forgive me and bypass my boldness At the same time, we're having court in the public. This is the court of public opinion. You got to have tough skin when you listen to Ringo TV, because we're very bold and we don't sugarcoat. This woman loved the Freakoffs. She loved them. She had pleasure. There's no way you could tell me that she was just laying there getting piped down and there was no pleasure. You can't tell me that. Because if you're going through all of this pain and suffering, why did you leave? And I get it. Some abuse victims stay. But this is 10 years. Listen, some of the stuff that's coming out now, I didn't know. And I'm like, look, Cassie, at some point you got to realize, like, are you dumb? You can't be this dumb. You enjoyed what was going on. You were a freak too. She was a freak. Cassie was a freak. Let's call it what it is, guys. We can't defend evil, man. Evil is evil. Diddy is evil, and Cassie got her own wicked ways. Yes, she was beat by Diddy. We know that. But let's call it what it is. Just because she's pregnant, don't let that get in the way of your better judgment, guys. Don't let a pregnant woman get in the way of your better judgment. Don't let that happen to you, because this is what they're doing. I told you guys they're going to let Cassie take the stand. I told you guys before any of this happened. Look, if you go back to the old videos, I told you just because Diddy gave her the settlement does not mean anything. She's going to take the stand when they go to trial. I told you guys this, and look at what happened. Same thing I said happened. Why? Because she's a damn, what's that word? I can't even get it off the top of my head. But she's the Trojan horse, guys. I'm serious. She's going to be the reason why Diddy go to prison. She's the reason. If you think about it, this is the biggest buzz. The big buzz about the whole Diddy trial right now is Cassie. Because this is what everybody been waiting to hear. This is what everybody been waiting to hear. So how come all of this didn't come out when the settlement came? Why? Come on now. So let's get back into this thing, guys. It goes on and it says she testified. She would also get sores on her tongue from all the oral sex during the Freakoffs, and she raised the issue of sores in her mouth and the UTIs with Diddy. Cassie told the jury she also needed massages, something IV fluids and food to recover from the Freakoffs. So this woman, listen, this woman needed massages, guys, after the Freakoffs. This is how much they were fucking her, bro. They were manhandling this woman. Do you understand me? She needed IV fluids. They had to connect her to an IV. You know when you're at the hospital and they put you on that IV fluid machine? They had to put that on her, fam. And food to recover from the Freakoffs. They bust this. Listen, let me tell you something, guys. And again, I got to be very explicit, guys. At the Freakoffs, they bust Cassie's back door open. They bust her front door open. And you know what front door and back door mean. So let's not act like we don't know. We grown. They bust this woman's mouth open. You understand? They gave her an extreme dental plan. They ran trains on her. They made her drink serum. They made her drink the potion. They made her gargle urine. They gave her urine showers. You understand what I'm saying? They drowned her in baby oil. I wouldn't be surprised if they filled up a jacuzzi with nothing but baby oil. Their Freakoffs was so sick, I can guarantee you it was slippery the whole time. I wouldn't be surprised if they made a pool with nothing but baby oil. You understand? I'm talking about the Freakoffs was monumental to the point where you had to dip yourself in the baby oil, the Freakoff parties. You understand? It was so slippery, this woman couldn't see. She ain't know who was piping her down. That's how sick the parties was. You understand? So now it goes on and it says, she said she tried to avoid kissing the male escorts because it seemed too intimate, but Diddy would tell her to kiss the male sex workers. Now you think about this, guys. Cassie would kiss the male escorts, men she don't know. Escorts, guys that are paid to do this type of stuff. Guys that are paid and hired to do freak-off parties. And Diddy had no problem with other men kissing his woman. Do you see this? And this is what Cassie was doing for 10 years. And y'all believe that she was a victim of the freak-off parties? I doubt that, guys. Everybody that went to the freak-offs wanted to go because it was a chance to experience the freak-offs, a time where everybody get to fuck and suck and do all sorts of freaky-ish. You know what I mean? It was the time of a lifetime, a Diddy party. Listen, if y'all go back to the tapes, if y'all go back to all the archives, all the interviews, when they used to talk about the Diddy parties, everybody said that Diddy gave the best parties. He threw the best parties. You got to go back to all the celebrities that talked about Diddy's parties. They would say his parties were the best, the most fun. The most fun you can ever have would be at a Diddy party. So everybody in the industry is guilty, guys. Everybody that went to the Diddy parties is guilty of the freak-offs. You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. Listen, when it comes to Kim Porter, let me park the car there. Kim Porter was blood sacrificed by P. Diddy because she knew too much, guys. We're talking about a healthy woman in her 40s end up dying of pneumonia. Come on, guys. Diddy did her in, man. Diddy killed Kim Porter. He murdered her, blood sacrifice. You know what I mean? And I told you guys, there was a blood sacrifice that Diddy was supposed to do on his youngest child. I believe it was a daughter when she was born. His youngest child was supposed to be blood sacrifice. If you go back to my videos, man, I'm telling you, I've been giving you guys a timeline of events and y'all don't give me no credit, bro. People like they be just forgetting the content and then y'all be just giving all the support to these content creators that don't do a good job. Nobody does a better job when it comes to commentary, guys. Nobody. I give the best commentary and criticism on YouTube. Nobody does a better job, guys. You know what I mean? But yes, Diddy lined up Kim Porter and had her sacrificed in order to continue his success. She was a healthy black woman, healthy in her 40s. She had no issues. And then she mysteriously dies. Come on, that was the diddler. The diddler got her up out of the way. She knew too much, man. And she was going to leave him, guys. I don't know if y'all know that, but she was leaving him. You know what I mean? She's separating it, and she was going to pretty much put out the information. She was going to put out all the info. And Diddy said, you know what? I can't deal with this. You got to go. You got to go. And he killed her, guys. And it might come up in the trial, too. You never know. It might come up in the trial. So she went on, and it says that she said she tried to avoid kissing the male escorts because it seemed too intimate. Now, the reason why she said it seemed too intimate is because she figures she's dating Diddy. But how do you say it seemed too intimate when you're getting fucked by these men? Isn't that too intimate? You see, you got to read between the lines, ladies and gentlemen. She felt that kissing the male escorts was too intimate, but yet she was getting piped down by these men. She was drinking urine. You see that? She was giving them oral sex. But kissing all of a sudden is too intimate. Come on, man. We got to stop playing, man. She said it was too intimate, but Diddy would tell her to kiss the male sex workers. It goes on and it says, Cassie testified Diddy even asked her to do a freak-off on her 29th birthday, pulling her out of the Blind Dragon karaoke bar in West. Where's this? Hold on. Wait a minute. I lost my position on the screen. Let me see. Okay. All right. Pulling her out of the Blind Dragon karaoke bar in West Hollywood and using his security team to take her to the freak-offs. You see that? It goes on and it says she talked about some of the aftermath from Diddy's 2016 assault on her in a hotel hallway. The full unedited 15-minute long video was shown in court. I told you they was going to show that video in court, guys. And it's now released. And she testified Diddy tried to lure her back by telling her he was getting arrested. Cassie and prosecutors read some text messages in court. They said a message from Diddy reads, "Please call. I'm surrounded." Cassie testified she texts back, "Please stay away from me." And Diddy responded, "I'm getting arrested." Diddy was not arrested. It goes on and it says, she told the jury Diddy would get physically violent with her at Freakoffs too, sometimes in the presence of the male escorts they hired. She said the escorts would ask her how she was doing after Diddy would put his hands on her. And she says the violence happened too frequently in places like New York, Los Angeles, and Miami. Now, let's park the car there and analyze this situation. She said the male escorts would ask her how she's doing after Diddy put hands on her. In other words, she's minimizing the fact that she was intimate with these male escorts as if though that wasn't an issue. In other words, these are good Samaritans asking her, "Hey, how you doing? You okay?" Because they saw Diddy manhandling her. So in other words, Diddy manhandling her was more of a serious issue than her swallowing nuts and kissing escorts. Do you see how she just did that? As if though they were caring. These were good men. Are y'all putting it together? Again, I do the best reactionary videos on YouTube. Nobody else does a better job. I'm trying to make you see the mindset of a narcissist on how they switch up on you. You see, she's basically making it seem like the escorts were good men. I thought these are the same men that Diddy told you to have sex with. I thought these are bad men. I thought these are the same guys that gave you the STIs and the urinary tract infections and the sores in your mouth from sucking them off. Now all of a sudden they're asking how you're doing. You don't think they would have said how you're doing before they were taking advantage of you? Why these same men, when they got to the Freakoffs, didn't say, "Nah, Diddy, we can't really have sex with her because that's your girl, dog"? They ain't have no problem taking advantage of you. So what's the difference between Diddy beating Cassie up in front of the male escorts and the male escorts having sex with her? What's the difference? All I'm trying to do is use logic, guys, to make you see and make sense of everything here, right? So it goes on and it says Cassie has not been cross-examined yet, but Diddy's defense has said the Freakoffs were consensual. And I believe that, guys. I believe that. Listen, guys, we have to be fair and we have to be balanced when it comes to the case. We know Diddy is guilty for beating Cassie up. But at the end of the day, if a man have parties and everybody is joining the parties, it's consensual, guys. It's consensual. These parties are not like, oh, you're held against your will and you can't go nowhere and blah, blah. No. These are grown adults. You know what I mean? So when Diddy's defense say that the Freakoffs were consensual, they were consensual, guys. Look, if you're a multimillionaire and you want to have a bunch of damn, sex workers or strippers or whatever the case is at your multi-million-dollar house to have a wild, crazy freak party, that's your personal business at the end of the day. We got to call it what it is. It's no different than if you having a party, a gathering at your house, and y'all getting drunk, and y'all smoking and doing what the hell y'all do. That's your personal business at the end of the day. Has nothing to do with nobody else. Right or wrong. If we're gonna crucify Diddy, right, we gotta do things based on the facts. We gotta do things based on abuse. Was there abuse? Was people getting wrong? Were there people being held against their will? Was there really sex trafficking? What really was going on? Let's look at the facts. Or else we're going to get a Tory Lane situation where a man is getting stabbed up 14 times in prison. You understand? And I'm not saying that Diddy deserves that. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody deserves to just get stabbed up in prison. What I'm saying is if you're going to send Diddy to prison for life, send him there for something that is worth life. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people want blood. A lot of people want people to burn. But the thing is, we become executioner, jury, and everything else when we don't have all the facts. What we do know is that he did, in fact, beat Cassie. We know that. And I believe that's what's going to send him to prison. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, is it worth sending to prison for life? No, it's not. How do you serve life in prison for attacking a woman? And that's life in prison? That don't make no sense, guys. You know what I mean? So there gots to be more. So why they're not focusing on all those other things? Why they're focusing on Cassie? Because they're shaping public opinion and they're shaping the jury's minds. And remember, the feds have a 98% conviction rate. They want this case to focus on the fact that Cassie was young, she was abused, she was raped, she was violated. They're going to twist it in that round. They're going to twist it in that way. But if you ask me, everything was consensual, guys. Based on everything that I'm hearing now, come on, Cassie. Come on, you were having oral sex with all of these men. These men were urinating in your mouth and you stood there taking it. Come on, stop it, man. I don't want to hear this stuff. You were having fun. She was having fun, guys. You know? So we're going to come back later on, guys, with more on these topics, more on these stories. I got to take care of some business. But we're going to definitely keep y'all in tune on what's going on, man, because there's a lot of stories I got to talk about with this situation. I try to keep everything fair and balanced, but we really got to focus on Cassie and her position that she played in all of this. We can't just spin this thing as, oh, she's just a young, hurt woman who just, no, she's just playing the victim at this point. And she's running the numbers up and she's getting her bag. And it you know, look, guys, if Cassie got her bag from the settlement, then that's her payment after the beating, guys. We got to be real. Let's be real, people. If Cassie got a settlement from Diddy, right? If Cassie got a settlement from Diddy, undisclosed amount of millions, right? And they kept it closed, they kept it quiet, then she got her payment, guys. So at that point, she wasn't trying to get Diddy to go to prison. So we can't look at the case as, oh, because Diddy did this to Cassie, he deserves life in prison. Nope. That's where we got to draw the line. I got to be fair and balanced, guys. I got to be. I can't, listen, Ringo TV don't jump on bandwagons like everybody else. I'm fair and balanced. Once Cassie got her settlement, she made a deal. Because Cassie wasn't pushing for Diddy to get arrested. Cassie wasn't pushing for Diddy to serve prison time. Cassie wanted money. And she got that money. So why is she testifying now? Come on now. And this is sick. And now she's pregnant? What man would get with a woman that been ran through like this? And that's not to disrespect her, but she been ran through. I don't care what nobody say. There's no way in this world I will hook up with this woman and get her pregnant after her womb have been diseased and her mouth have been full of sores. And now you're going to go down to the altar and say you may now kiss the bride and get with her. And no, you out of your mind. So whatever man she's with is most likely another dog, another demon. You understand? Another demon. And for all you know, the child that is in her womb is probably not even that man's kids, because there's so much semen that been inside her womb, ain't no telling who the father is. And it been situations like that where women got pregnant, but not by their man, but by a previous man that they were with, because the semen was still in her vagina. Real talk, bro. Listen, I'm trying to give you guys the real, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button. You know what I mean? Stop hating on your boy, bro. You got 400 people in the building, only 200 likes. You know what I'm saying? That mean half of y'all hate Ringo TV, even though you here watching me. You know what I mean? It don't make no sense, y'all. So, hey, this is the best reactionary channel on YouTube. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Don't just be a cloud viewer. Subscribe to the channel, because a lot of people hate me because I keep it real. Listen, you're going to either subscribe now or subscribe later. So just subscribe now, because I'm the best on these YouTube streets. Hands down. Nobody else does a better job. Right? So we're going to pretty much wrap up the show. Appreciate everybody stopping by. You know, if you're at the 9 to 5 listening, if you're on the job, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate you tuning in. If you're on the road, traveling, truck drivers, you know, shout out to all my truck drivers out there. You know? Yeah. Shout out to everybody from UPS, FedEx, DHL, United States Parcel Service, Amazon, Uber Eats, Lyft drivers, anybody doing deliveries. Shout out to all the truckers on the road. Everybody on the 9-to-5 grind, listening, tuning in. Salute to everybody. Y'all have a safe day. Drive safe if you're on the road. Don't get into no road rage with no people, man. Don't let nobody take your peace. You know what I'm saying? We're going to close with a good word. Don't let nobody steal your joy. Don't let nobody take your peace. Don't let anyone irritate you to the point where you react out of your emotions. When you recognize there's a devil in the room doing evil, just learn how to cooperate and control your emotions and walk away. It's the best thing you can do. It burns the soul of a person when you don't react, when you just walk away when they're trying to provoke you to get angry. So if you're in a situation and somebody's trying to provoke you to anger today, don't let them steal your joy. Don't let them control you. If you can let a person control your emotions, they got control over you. So don't let that happen to you. Right? So, hey, rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace and blessings to the mods in the chat. Shout out to V-Dub, man, for the support on the Cash App. Shout out to everybody that support the show. Marilyn, shout out to you for the support. Rate, comment, and subscribe, guys. We'll catch you later on in another show, Ringo TV Reactions, the #1 reactionary channel on YouTube, hands down. I'm out of here. Peace.
If you like our content, consider supporting via Cash App at $Ringo TV Raw. Become a patron on patreon.com for exclusive video content not shown on YouTube. You could also support through PayPal at paypal.me/RingoTVRaw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of new content. Follow me on Instagram at RingoTVRaw.
This is Ringo TV Reactions, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth, 100% raw and uncut. I'm out. Peace.